Hey guys, it's just me, Lance, again. So here's my response video to Nick Patterson's arrest. So I know he's trying to paint the narrative that he was a victim somehow in this and the police rushed him and assaulted him and he's innocent, right? Now, that's laughable. I have seen some of the small online media outlets try to paint the same narrative as well, that he's the victim, and they're all clever. He's clever editing and manipulation. They're very clever. Some of these online activists and journalists online, they're very clever, And the thing is, guys, to be honest with you, is we all know MSM they're known to exaggerate, sensationalize the story, even tell a few fibs sometimes. It's sad when they do that. We all hate that. But what I've found over the last 10 months is it's not only the mainstream media that are known to exaggerate from time to time, but the online independent media, in my opinion, they're even worse. They're even worse. They call themselves the honest media, and they're doing the same tactics. I suppose it's a slippery slope once you start becoming a journalist and putting stories out there. It's only a matter of time. You tell a few fibs. Before you know it, you're just a full-blown compulsive liar. Now, you've heard me say before, Lucky Lance, only honest person on the Facebook. Yeah, obviously, that's a very arrogant thing to say. But I've got to tell you, I stand by those words. I mean, Lucky Lance has nothing to gain. It's not a career for me. I don't make a cent from anything online. Never have, never will. And so it allows me, so that means I don't have to worry about backlash. I don't have to worry about losing followers. I can, go talk about any narrative that I like. I can do a video and apologize and correct myself where I've gotten something wrong. Right? So some of the online guys, when they get it wrong, they can't afford to come out and admit that they're wrong because they'll lose credibility. And if they lose credibility, they'll lose followers and they need the donations. So the online guys, they're selling merch and memberships and donations. So they can't afford to lose credibility. They can't afford to admit when they were wrong. Lucky Lance can. Hasn't happened too many times yet because also I'm probably the only person on Facebook with access to legal opinion, right? So I can, get lawyers to give me advice and then I try to share that information in my words with you guys. And I suppose I am the only honest person on Facebook. I'll say it again. Fuck it. It's not arrogant. It's the truth. So anyway, in regards to Nick Patterson, so I've seen some of the online reports. People are trying to say the media didn't show the right angles and they just show that Nick having the debate with the police, having a legal argument with the police, which is just absurd in the first place, political publicity stunt, legal arguments for the courtroom. So anyway, and the cop that was there, I've got to say, that cop, I don't know who he was. Geez, that cop showed a lot of professionalism and a lot of patience. What patience that cop had. He heard him out for a long time. Heard him out. Was very cool, calm and collected. Very peaceful, very nice cop. I don't know who that cop is. I hope I met you. It seems like a good bloke with a lot of patience. And he heard Nick out and then they, agreed to leave or whatever happened. But Nick's trying to say that they were simply walking to their car to go home and the police just stopped on the street and belted them up for no reason. So that's what Nick and online influencers would have you believe. Now, if you believe that, keep scrolling, don't watch Lucky Lance because you're a bloody idiot, right? There's obviously a lot more to it. Police just don't go up and rush people and bash them for no reason, right? Doesn't happen. And that's not even what happened if you watch the footage. Now, the thing is, in between that Nick's long bloody legal bloody speech where he made a fool of himself talking to that patient cop, and then the incident where they had the melee on the street, we don't know what happened in between there. Were they just calmly walking to their car, right? Were they throwing bottles at the police? Were they abusing the police? Were they actually not walking to their cars, right? Were they doing blockies? We don't know what happened. Thankfully, the truth will come out in court, right? And then we'll see all the evidence come out in open court, and then we'll know for sure. Right now, this is pure speculation. So anyway, if the police were just going to come up and bum rush them and bash them for no reason, well, why wouldn't they have done that at the start? Why wouldn't they have done that at the start? Well, they waited till they're walking down the street and then just decided to do it. See, it doesn't make any sense. The police don't, what motivation would the police have to do that? Now, so that's my point. But if you study the footage, the police did come to block them. So they were walking that way. The police came. Now, these guys ran at them and started swinging punches, right? Now, you don't run at the police, right? It's not a good idea. They have mace, they have guns, they have batons, and they have the law on their side. So don't assault emergency service workers, right? Don't challenge the police to a melee. It's never worked out well for anyone in the history of Australia, ever, right? So, but the thing is, they're saying that they were attacked by police. But if you look in the footage, they were running at police. Now, if they didn't want to have a melee with the police, all those guys, when the police were coming to stop them from walking, They could have all just stopped, calmly stopped, and let the police go about their business. They would have come up, maybe they were going to arrest him, maybe they were going to question him, maybe they're going to handcuff him. Now, if these guys all just stood there calmly and did nothing, then none of this would have happened and Nick wouldn't be facing years and years in jail, right? But they ran at the police. Now, what do you think the police are going to do when they're walking around looking to apprehend you, looking to stop you, looking to block their path, right, to either talk to them or arrest them, whatever they were going to do. Now, when you run at them and start swinging punches, what do you think's going to happen, right? Well, you've seen what happened. You see Nick, he's got a broken shoulder and, he copped a bit of bloody biffo, right, which is what happens when you run at the police and especially when you swing punches at the police. Now, the thing is, Nick is gone on that. There's no defence to that, right? It's all on footage. You can't take a swing at a police officer and expect to beat the charge, right? Now, let me read out to you the charges that he's been charged with, right? So I've got him here, and then I'll give a little bit of a running commentary. So Nick Patterson's been charged with 4 counts of assaulting police, 6 counts of resisting police, 3 counts of intentionally causing serious injury, 3 counts of recklessly causing serious injury, 3 counts of unlawful assault, a fray, and 2 counts of breaching the health directions, right? That is a lot of charges. Now, I already see people talking online saying, oh, they've loaded him up. Well, if you knew anything about the fucking system, you would know that this is common practice, right? It's common practice. So they just put all the charges that it could possibly be and put that on the charge sheet, send it to the courts, let the courts determine which charges need to stick or which ones need to be thrown out, right? So that's a common everyday practice before you want to run around talking about some sort of conspiracy that the cops have loaded him up. Well, that's what they always do, right? And I'll go into detail. So they've charged him with 3 counts of intentionally caused serious injury as well as 3 counts of recklessly caused serious injury, right? So now he can't be found guilty on both of those charges, right? So that's an alternative, right? So it's hard for them to on the charge sheet to prove which one it is. So what you do is they just put both on there because it could have easily been intentionally causing serious injury and it could have easily been recklessly causing serious injury. So you put both of those sets of charges on the charge sheet, send it off to court for the professionals to determine it, right? So that's how it works. There's nothing untoward happening here, nothing even unusual at all. So don't listen to the online scammers with their agenda and their crowdfunding efforts. Don't listen to them. They're not honest, right? Lucky Lance is the only honest person on Facebook. It's an arrogant thing to say, I know, but it's true. I don't make any money for this. I've got nothing to benefit, nothing to gain. I don't care if I lose my followers or gain followers. All I care about is being honest. Anyway, so what will happen in court is they will determine whether it was intentional or not. Now, it's very hard for them to prove intentional, right? So they have to prove intent, that in his mind he intended to injure these Victoria police officers, right? So they'll have a hard time proving intentional, and if they can't prove that, then they'll negotiate down to reckless. But in this case, they might have a good chance. I hope some VicPol detectives or whatever are watching. You might be able to get some help from Lucky Lance. If you guys want to go online and get some of his content, interviews he's done on YouTube and these different channels, you'll see Nick telling people how you can lawfully assault police, right? Because he's read some law books, right? And he doesn't quite comprehend it and he's misinterpreted it like most people do. And he actually believes there's certain instances where you can assault police and it's lawful, right? And he tells others how to do it, right? So when he's doing videos talking about how you can lawfully assault police, well, that indicates intent, right? So he's going to really regret making those YouTube videos because if that gets played in court, or if the police get those videos, which they probably will after one of you guys screen records it and sends it to VicPol. So if they play that in court where he's talking about assaulting police and talking about how he can lawfully get away with it, and then he's here in the court charged with assault police, pleading not guilty, trying on those same tactics, that's going to sink him, right? That's going to sink him. Judges are not stupid. You're going to see that. You're going to see that evidence go, right, you're going down now on the intentional. Now, intentionally causing serious injury is a fucking really serious charge. You're in county court, big sentences, 2, 3, 4 years, right? Now, let me read out some of the other charges, right? Get your calculator out, because good old Nick Patterson, he might not be coming back for a fucking long time, right? Unless he's got a really good lawyer, which is impossible. There's no way he'll get a good lawyer. There's only half a dozen good ones, and there's no way he'll know who they are, and he wouldn't be able to afford them anyway. But anyway, so he's got 4 counts of assault police, 6 counts of resisting police, 3 counts of intentionally causing serious injury, 3 counts of recklessly causing serious injury. Now the big one, Nick. Affray. Fucking really bad charge. Oh, they throw the book at Affray, that's assault and company. right? Affray, you're looking at years, right? Really bad charge. So you got affray and intentionally cause serious injury, but against police officers. So intentionally causing serious injury, or even the reckless, the lesser charge, is still recklessly causing serious injury, right? It's the serious injury that gets you, right? If it was just recklessly causing injury, all right, you're not in that much trouble. Yeah, it means you slapped someone, right? But causing serious injury, now you're in deep shit. Like, how are you going to explain that to a bloody judge, right? And the thing is, and it's serious injury against law enforcement, against police officers. So the poor lawyer that's going to have to try to defend Nick, it's going to be a tough day. As well as he's been charged with breaching the chief health officer's directions, which is the least of his problems. So if you want to go and look at some of the precedents or look at the Mandatory Sentencing Act for assault police, it's minimum 6 months, but he's well past that threshold. But if you want to look at the some of the precedents, so assault police, resist police, intentionally cause serious injury, affray, right? Affray can get you 3, 4, 5 years any day of the week. Intentionally cause serious injury can get you 3 or 4 years any day of the week, right? If you add this up, we're looking at years and years and years. Probably, luckily for Nick, there is a thing called concurrent. So sometimes what they'll do is I'll run the sentences concurrent. So he'll be, for any of these charges that he's found guilty on, which probably is going to be at least half of them. So if he gets like 1 year for this, 2 years for that, 3 years for that, and 4 years for that, and 4 years for that, right? Often they will just take it, so they will just run it concurrent. So say if the biggest sentence was 4 years, and then with a heap of other sentences of 1 and 2, they'll just run that concurrent, and you just serve the one sentence, right? So they don't always make it back to back. Otherwise, I mean, if he went guilty on all these charges and got 2 or 3 or 4 years for each, you'd be looking at 10 or bloody 15 years. So they don't do that. So they run it concurrent. So that's the only thing he's got to look forward to, is hopefully they'll run a lot of these sentences concurrent, right? So anyway, that's my take on it, right? Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. It's early days. Right now, these are mere allegations. What I'm telling you is if he does go down on most of these charges, he's looking at years and years and years. I'll just gave you my opinion as well, my personal opinion on him trying to beat the intentionally caused serious injury charge. It's a lot harder for them to prove the intent, but I think it will help them to prove intent if they can bring up his videos in court where he's telling his followers that it's okay to hit police and tells them how you can get away with it. Now, that would lean towards intent, and that would sink him on the intentionally caused serious injury to a police officer. And anyone that's thinking of donating money to his legal fees because you think he's innocent, you think that somehow he's going to run a contest on this and beat it, you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. There's no defense to this. There's maybe a couple of the charges might be able to get thrown out, but at the end of the day, it's still the same offence. So even if he's able to get this one downgraded to this charge and this charge thrown out and this one charge, it's still the same incident, right? It's still him hitting police on camera, right? So basically, my professional opinion, I'm not a professional, Lucky Lance's opinion on Nick Patterson's case, how it'll turn out in court, if it goes real good, he's fucked. Either way, he's fucked. You heard it here first at Lucky Lance, the only honest person on Facebook. See you guys.